Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are listening to Your World Today on Radio Islam International. We have with us at the Media Square of Parliament the Secretary General of the Jamiatul Ulama South Africa, Maulana Ebrahim Bham, who is here to be part of the State of the Nation address. Maulana has come through from Johannesburg and will be in the chamber later to witness the address of the President of the country. Maulana, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and assalamu alaikum to all the esteemed listeners. Rather late for me on Thursday.
Gee, the listeners are accustomed and very eagerly wait to listen to Maulana's voice on a Thursday morning, and due to the flight coming through, Maulana wasn't available for the program. Maulana, what has been your impressions and your thoughts of the setup of Parliament and how the protocol that has been followed up until this point? Obviously, you still got to go into the chamber and you'll have a better picture of the whole procedure later this evening.
Well, thus far things have been pretty still laid back, and I suppose maybe it will lead up to the excitement of the State of the Nation address. Things have been pretty orderly up till now, and we hope that it will remain like that. Obviously, I believe that there is a threat with regard to disrupting the President's speech today. So let's see what happens. But I know many people will be asking what is the reason for Radio Islam or for myself or anything to be partnering or just taking part in such an event. We believe, and I think it's something that we have been consistently saying. We took out our statement last 2-3 weeks ago with regard to Muslims and the community should register for the elections and should participate in the forthcoming elections. And we do believe that we do have our values, which we have absolutely no qualms and doubts with regard to those values. But we also believe we are staying in a land in which there is a legislative process, and the Parliament is the seat of that legislative process. And today, the State of the Nation address normally does contain many important statements of policy that are made. It was from a very State of the Nation address that led to the release of the former President Nelson Mandela. So whatever does happen here does have an impact upon us in terms of our living, in terms of our practices, in terms of the freedom of our religion, which we hold very dear, and many other aspects with regard to whatever happens in our country. Whatever happens here does have an impact upon us. Now, we can be bystanders and just sit by the wayside and just say, we can be armchair critics and say this is a waste of time. Whatever happens there doesn't impact upon us. Well, it does impact. Or you could be in some way, even if it's in a small way, be an active participant in trying to be solution orientated and making your voice heard in whatever small way you can.
When speaking to people, very often I get the sense people say the ANC are all corrupt. Look at Bosasa, look at the entire Gupta saga, the DA is riddled with internal issues, the EFF only knows how to disrupt us. So there's no alternative, there's nothing for us in this, so why should we bother?
Well, the one question I would like to ask such people is that by you staying away, how does it improve the situation? So you say, okay, all of these people are corrupt, so we don't take part, so we sit by the sidelines and we don't bother, we don't participate. So how does that non-participation make any difference to what you are saying? So that's a point where many people have said that we're not going to participate. So okay, by you saying you're not participating, how does that help the situation that what you have outlined? So we're not saying that by us participating, but of course your voice is heard, whatever it is. Whether it be with regard to corruption, whether it be with regard to how you feel a government should run, what is good governance. We have in our religion, in our values, in our teachings, we have very specific guidelines with regard to these matters. It is not as if our religion is devoid of guidance in this particular matter. So wherever we can, I personally feel we should be making our voices be heard. And those people who say that we'll be in isolation, we are going to remain aloof because this doesn't make any difference. Well, by you remaining aloof, what difference do you make?
when we listen to the State of the Nation address as a Muslim, do we only listen out for things that may directly be relevant to us, or perhaps what we consider to be relevant, the Palestinian issue? Or do we look at the broader issues of the well-being, the prosperity of this country? So an issue like corruption, when you're listening out this evening to the address, Mullah, will you be focusing to see perhaps what does the President say about corruption? How is he going to deal with this issue that has brought us under the spotlight from international countries that have written letters to us on this particular issue?
Well, the point is, Palestine is very close to our heart, and whatever a president is going to say with regard to it, and thus far he has made positive statements on the Palestinian issue. But corruption, poverty, unemployment, gangsterism, the rate of crime in our country are not necessarily faith-specific issues. It is societal problems and issues. And together with us being Muslims, together with us being part of a specific faith, we're also part of a society. So these are societal problems and we are part of the society. So how are those problems not going to impact upon you? And in this regard, I seem to like an example that was quoted by none other than Mufti Mahmud Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi, one of our great scholars, who used to give this example. He used to say that if you, for example, traveling from one place to another on a means of conveyance, whether it be an aeroplane, whether it be a rail or a train, if you are going from one place to other, people will have different intentions for going in that journey. But while you are in that journey, it is in everyone's interest that that journey and that means of conveyance is safe. That no one would accept that someone derails that journey by making it unsafe. In a similar manner, we are part and parcel of the country. It's in our interest as Muslims that the country be prosperous, that the country be rid and free of crime, corruption. And while we are there, it is equally applicable to us as it is applicable to a person of another faith, for the country to be prosperous, to be rid of the problems in society with regard to what the society is facing. So these problems are societal problems, are not faith-specific problems.
Well, later this evening we look forward to chatting to you to take us through your thoughts of the address by the President and also your experience in the chamber itself. Jazakumullah khair for availing your time now, and we look forward to speaking again later, inshallah.
In many aspects, if you look at our history, our ulama have been part of parliament, whether it be Maulana Asad Madani in India, whether it be Mufti Mahmud Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi in Pakistan, and they played major roles in very major decisions. The decision with regard to who is a Muslim and who is not a Muslim was spearheaded by Mufti Mahmud Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi in the Pakistan Parliament. Maulana Asad Sahib played very effective role in safeguarding the rights of Muslims in India. So, depending upon how a person looks at it, a person can use the means available to make a very important contribution to the deen and to the society.
Important words that we need to reflect on, words of wisdom by Maulana Ebrahim Bham Sahib, barakatuh, and we will continue speaking to Maulana as we get closer to the time of the President's address.